Hello. Alright, so last time we were at the point of no return. There we are. So here was, the battery cut off. So I'm going to go back about a paragraph and remember, so right now we're going over the epilogue. So his final summation of the whole interpretation of his dream, the four hoodlums. And in this dream, in the final analysis, he realized that for his ritual, he needed to do something significant. At first, what he did, he just went to a place that wasn't as impactful as what he really wanted. His ritual was just to find a vacant lot, get out of his car, walk around a couple of times. He said it helped, but it wasn't quite as impactful. And then by coincidence, he ended up going back home to his hometown, and then he actually went ahead and went to the physical place in his dream that he remembered on William Street. And then a guy came out of the bushes just as he had in his dream right before the hoodlums attacked him in his dream and started robbing him. He had that experience in his real life ritual of the dream, except he didn't get robbed. So we were at this part where we were reading what the guy said when he popped out from behind the bush. He says, "Suddenly, as I walked slowly past the vacant lot, a young man stepped out of the bushes and approached me. Well, the time had come, I thought. I was about to be robbed, just as in the dream. He was a streetwise, just like the hoodlums in the dream. He looked me over, and he sensed that I wanted something, that I was looking for something. Of course, he had no way of knowing that I was looking for a deeper understanding of my dream, that I was walking in my dream. So he began to question me. Did I want marijuana? No. Then what about cocaine? No. Did I want a woman? No. Heroin? No. When he had exhausted his list of possibilities, he finally asked, well then, what do you want? It flashed through my mind that I could tell him that I wanted to talk with the hoodlums in my dream, that I wanted to walk by the Japanese greengrocers in the vacant lot until I connected with the parts of me that I had left there so many years before. I could have told him that I was walking in my dream and that he had walked into it and joined me. Perhaps he would have understood, but I didn't. At that point, the interaction between my dream world and the physical world had become too intense for me. I walked on, got into my car, and fled the scene. By the time I put myself through this ritual, I had touched my dream on as many levels as I could. It had become a vivid part of my life, an experience that I went back to in my mind repeatedly. Living with its symbols and the meanings that were slowly becoming more clear to me, I gradually altered my life to accord with the new conception of myself that the dream had planted in my mind. What was that new conception? The dream forced me to realize that the most important thing in life to me is friendship and feeling exchange with other people. I don't need to have many acquaintances, but I require good friendships that involve a deep level of communication, whether it be an exchange of ideas or the simple joy of being together. In response to the dream, I made up my mind to go to India, to visit an ancient culture where people still related to each other through the archaic ties of a clan and tribe, where warmth, feeling, and human exchange are valued above logic, order, and production. The series of visits I made to India and the Orient made a new reference point outside the mentality that I had been reared in. I gained a concrete sense of what it is to live among people who place love and feeling and human exchange above all other values. I felt at home. Back in the United States, the effects of my dream on me continued. I began to pull out of the standard American way of life with the goals, the excessive work schedule, the constant feeling of pressure and deadlines, money to be made and people to be impressed. It was a slow process, but now, years later, I can say that the days of my life contrast greatly with those of the life I was leading when I dreamed of the four hoodlums. There is a time for relaxation, for visiting friends, for planting in the yard, for listening to music, for active imagination. The succession of practical changes that made this possible began with this dream and the new attitudes that began to evolve inside me, the new conception of who I really am that began to develop in response to its symbols. That's awesome. So he changed his paradigm and his life changed. He changed his inner self by embracing this new concept of self that he found from doing the dream work. He brought that forward, and then he says he went from what we're all probably going through right now. I know I'm in that transition stage, and I feel so blessed. I have to remind myself every day to get back to a place. Gratitude. I just bought a gratitude journal too the other day, just at Dollar Tree. They have an amazing dollar section that is so valuable to me as someone who does vision boards and scrapbooking and framing of scrapbook photos as gifts and things like that. It's just amazing the value I get from a store like that that's just $1. Like, we don't value $1, but the value exchange you get there. They have some great like stickers and pieces and journals and little things that have inspirational quotes on the front of them. I just got a journal, like I was saying, the cover says, "Begin every day with a grateful heart." And I said, this is my gratitude journal. And it's just like, that's $1. I love that place because they give me immense value, and I give them in exchange for that. And they're not overinflating the cost. That's what I'm all about. I'm not about overinflating the cost of things to get the upper hand on people. It may not have cost you very much to put that book together, and you were honest about that, and it gives me immense value that I would go back and probably buy 1 million the day I'm a millionaire and give it out to all the people that I work with, because it's given me that value. But to go back to the whole point, he says his life in the United States was the typical American way of life. It was full of pressure and deadlines, excessive work schedules, goals, constant feelings of just a rat race, right? And then money to be made and people to impress. But then, after he did this inner work, reevaluated what his true inner suppressed ideals were that he really valued, he came into a place where there is now time for relaxation, for visiting friends, planting in the yard, listening to music, and active imagination, which is what we're doing here. And that's amazing. That's where I am right now. And again, I just count your blessings, but you got to do the inner work and you get there. Now here's the last paragraph of this part 2 of the book, and then we go into part 3, which is active imagination. It is my hope that from the steps and the practical examples that we have explored together, you will find it easier to get started on your own dream work and find the wisdom that awaits you in your own dreams. Remember that the unconscious continually expresses itself and voluntarily generates all the associations and references that you will need in order to understand your own dreams. All that is required, essentially, is your work, your willingness to begin and to follow the steps. You may want to go beyond the bounds of this book and read more about the nature of dreams and of certain symbols, or more about the ideas of Carl Jung. You will find several books listed in the bibliography that will help you. Awesome. But basically, you will find all that stands between you and understanding your dream is the act of writing down that first dream image. Then writing down the first association that leaps into your mind. From that first act, the crucial movement of the hand and the mind begins all the magical and amazing unfolding of the inner mysteries that your unconscious stands ready to accomplish. Woohoo! Alright. Sorry if you have headphones on and I just screamed. I know there's another person whose YouTube videos I watch and his vocal pitch is always up and down and I'm always like, so I'm sorry. I'm going to cut this video off and do another one for active imagination part 3, which we have just arrived. See ya.